Hey guys, welcome to my first weekly recap of the market, especially for the small cap world. It's for the week ending 24 Jan 2025. So it was a short week, guys, because obviously the week started with the holiday on Monday for Martin Luther King Day, and it was also Donald Trump's swearing in. So there was a lot of euphoria, guys, with Bitcoin and obviously with Trump launching his meme coin, and then obviously Melania following through with her meme coin over the past weekend. So obviously people came into this week with obviously a lot of hopes for that they're going to see some really strong momentum in Bitcoin related stocks and even in energy related stocks, but none of that really happened. So it was a weird week. I'll be honest. It was a short week and it was a weird week because it was really hard, at least for me, to pinpoint on an actual sector that was hot during the entire week. I mean, yeah, healthcare and biotech. I mean, biotech's obviously I'll go through that. I'll show you some screenshots of some stocks that really gapped up and then made some really outlier moves. But I believe it was really tough, a weird week where I found it hard to just pinpoint on a particular sector which was hot. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you and I'm going to obviously walk you through some of the stocks that I thought made some really good moves, stocks where even I got stuck. So I'm going to start that right now. So the week started, guys, with obviously a lot of people having hopes from Bitcoin rated stocks. So BTCT was one of them that made a good move on Friday from about 480 to 980. That was a decent move. But guess what happened on Tuesday when the markets opened after the holiday? It made a decent pop to like 10, but pulled back. And the same thing happened with the other one, BTCS. Same story. Made a move on 17 from 273 to 414, but again pulled back when the markets opened on Tuesday. So Tuesday we didn't see any particular sector that was really hot. We had some moves that were random. I got stuck in one of them. The stock I got stuck in was ASST, a penny stock. On 21st Tuesday, goes from 50 cents to 145. Guess what? On no news. I'm going to pull up the 5 minute chart. I used Notion to take screenshots of charts that made good moves that I can study later on. That was the 5 minute chart on ASST on Tuesday, if you notice. So, like I mentioned before, I trade a lot in pre-market. So, when this started making a move around 5 a.m. EST, New York time, here is where I got stuck. So, I was short pretty much, and I covered close to about 94 cents. I was done trading that stock, to be honest, because it was super trappy. Like I said, there was no news on it. Let me check again. I'm just going to switch to Finwiz real quick. ASST, asset entities. Yeah. So it's a US based stock. So if you notice, there was no news whatsoever, guys. The last news that we have is from December 11th. So I didn't think much of it. I shorted it because why not? It was gapping up. At that time was low volume, so I thought it would give a pop and then it would flush, but I was wrong on that one. So that's what I saw on Tuesday. That was one outlier move that we saw from 50 cents to about 140. And to be honest, this thing it held its gains even going into Wednesday, 22nd. If you notice, it went from 87 cents to on $1.83. So anyone who shorted thinking it was day two would have been a good idea to short. Even probably they got stuck. I did not trade this on Tuesday at all. So coming back to Monday again. So one stock that definitely made a move, a decent move after hours because they had news was it was the ticker VATE. So they came out with news actually on the 17th, which was Friday. This was before the long weekend. 17th, there you go. So I believe they had received FDA approval, which is a good news catalyst. So if I switch back to my interactive broker screen here, if I go to wait, if I look at the daily candle here, look at that. So that was 17th. It goes from 483 to 869 and gave us a decent move. So this actually, I clearly remember this one at the start of pre-market at 4 a.m. EST. This thing pulled back if you notice, to about $6, and I took it short that day. I'll quickly show you my trades for that day. It's just a screenshot, real quick. Let me just pull it here. There you go, guys. So I traded it with small size. That was my P&L, by the way, for 21st Jan, this Tuesday. As you can see, I started the day right with a decent sized loss on ASST, but I managed to obviously dig myself out with some base hits on a bunch of tickers there. So that was my P&L. I'm going to minimize this now. So yeah, so VATE gave us a decent move even on that Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the main stock that made a move was BLBX. So this one came out with news. Real quick, let me jump to Finwiz, BLB. So they came out with news on 22nd. They had secured financing of up to 2 million in anticipation of a potential merger. That was good enough to send the stock. So that's the 5 minute chart, guys, for this particular stock on Tuesday. So it went from what? $2, super trappy here, and then after 10 o'clock, that's where a lot of the shorts got stuck. 10:30, because this thing flushed or pulled back, whatever you want to call it, at the open during regular hours at the open, and then moved back, pulled back again. This is where pretty much I'm sure a lot of people went short, and this thing held its gains and actually made a move to $5. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I had taken this screenshot uh, before after hours on Tuesday. And if you notice, if I pull up BLBX, I think this actually made a move, not from actually from 5, it went to 650 after hours. Yep, on Wednesday. What also happened on Wednesday, guys? Trump, during his swearing in speech on the inauguration day, on Monday, he made a comment about drilling. He said, drill, baby, drill. So that was enough to send a lot of the energy stocks moving on Tuesday. So if you noticed, even on Tuesday, they definitely made a move from 220 to 640. But guess what happened on Wednesday? That was one of the main stocks, energy stocks, USEG. So they came up with an offering. They came up with an offering in pre-market. They didn't even wait for the market open. They came out with an offering, and hence the red candle on the day. So even the next day, I really thought that they would definitely beat the previous day's high, but the offering definitely put a damper on USEG. I believe even TPET is another energy stock that obviously went up on Tuesday, and then it pulled back, and it's obviously on the way back now. So that offering on USEG definitely put a damper on the momentum on particularly for energy related stocks. So that was on Wednesday. So if you notice, we didn't have much on Tuesday. We had obviously ASST that made a decent move on no news. Then on Wednesday, we had BLBX, which was, if you look at the industry, it's technology and software. So they had a news catalyst. It made a move based on that news catalyst. So, and then again, we thought we're going to see some momentum on some similar stocks on Thursday, which was the 23rd. So 23rd, I'll quickly actually, before I move on to 23rd, I'll also share my P&L for the for Tuesday. Sorry, that was 22nd, which was Wednesday. So I traded Gels, it was a nice green day. Gels made a move on, it was up on no news in pre-market. I didn't see any news, so I hit like a daily level there. So I waited for the stock to gap up. I saw it hitting a previously established daily level. That's where I started with a short position, and I added on the way down. So that was my P&L for the 22nd. So I've lost so I mean, I'm still working on my way to profitability, guys. So whenever I have for me, $600 was a nice decent trade. And after that, what I usually do is I really size down. I size down with my share size. I want to keep my profits. I want to obviously take the money off the table. Although I could have made some more money on MOBX, COSM, but you know what? I didn't want to be greedy. Like I said, I've taken some very deep cuts. I've had some really bad red days. So whenever I have a decent green day, I just try to keep the gains and just After a decent sized trade, when I'm green, I just size down on my shares. So that's what happened on that was Wednesday, the 22nd, and then 23rd, guys. Another really interesting day. So in pre-market, we saw a lot of biotech stocks. If I remember correctly, it was VIGL that made a move. This was 23rd. So if you look at that, 23rd, made a move, dollar move up, but pull back. Okay. Same thing happened with PLRZ. That was both again a healthcare biotech stock, guys. Look at that. It came up with the news catalyst on 23rd and pulled back. So a lot of what we saw that day, especially in pre-market, was a lot of biotech stocks came out with news around 7 a.m. and popped once or twice and then pulled back. What also was interesting on Thursday afternoon that some recent IPOs. So we had DGNX that IPO'd, I think, on Tuesday. Look at that. So it IPO'd on the 22nd was a Wednesday, right? So it IPO'd on Wednesday. Went from like 426 to 1779. Great. Next day, this thing goes pre-market from 10 to 24, guys. And this is just a recent IPO. I believe it's Asian. Let me quickly check. DGNX. Yep, I think it's a Chinese stock. No, yeah, it's close. Hong Kong. Hong Kong IPO. Even I use Finways to check the short float and the institutional ownership on a lot of stocks. And obviously, there isn't much here because it just IPO'd pretty much on 22nd. Well, look at what it did on that day. This thing just went from 10 to 24. I had no trades on it long or obviously my brokerage active brokers did not have any shares to short, at least for my account. So this thing just went off. Also, what happened is another IPO. This was all pre-market on Thursday, 23rd, DXST. Another recent IPO, guys. Look at that. Even the IPO 22nd didn't this thing barely made a move and look at what it did. So these things again, the DXST, let's look at this topic as well. DXST, look at that. So this one again, Chinese industrials, pollution and treatment control. That's the industry. Obviously, Finways has no information on it yet. It's a stock that just started trading this week. Look at that stock. From 4 to 14, guys. Again, I had no position on it because, guys, these moves I just avoid because for me, it's important to know the history of a stock by looking at daily, weekly, monthly levels. There is no way I'm quick enough to jump in and jump out on these stocks because they were super choppy. If I look at the 5 minute on this, on on this day, just look at this, guys. This thing was just quiet on 23rd, but look at 7 a.m., 7:25. Just goes off 5:50 to 12 in 5 minutes, guys. Sorry, 5:50 to 14, guys. My bad. In 5 minutes. I mean, it sounds good, guys, but to be honest, when these are not the cleanest moves. So I'm just showing it to you just to show you what happened in the market because people barely notice these moves pre-market. So this is what happened on Thursday. This was between 7 a.m. and 9. And guess what, guys? So during market hours, so the market started off with DGNX pulling back already. So DGNX is pulling back, and guess what happened? Out of nowhere, guys. Remember, I said that a lot of the biotechs are pulling back, like I mentioned. All of them popped up on news and pulled back. And then we had Dogwood Therapeutics. I think DWTX. Look at that. Guys, out of nowhere, this thing just goes off. Look at that. That's the daily candle here. $2 to $29. This was officially the Black Swan event for the short time frame that we've had in 2025 in Jan. This definitely kicked off the Black Swan event where shorts got stuck. Let me pull up my Notion page here. Let me scroll down to there you go. Let's look at that. This is the 5 minute chart of that data, guys. Look at that move. 750, guys, all the way up to $28, guys. That's straight up 5 minutes. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes of pretty much straight up action, guys. And guess what? On no news. There was no news catalyst to obviously support this move. It was just that obviously it got the attention of pretty much everyone in the market, and this thing just went straight up. We also had a news. I mean, if you trade pennies, we also had Naito that day. So they came out with news around, very close to the open. I think they dropped news around, let me check this real quick. If I'm not mistaken, around 9:15 a.m. Yep. So, yep, 9 8 a.m. I was closed. So they had dropped this news catalyst on 23rd, on Thursday. And it was a choppy move, but it was a move nonetheless. It went from like 85 cents to pretty much $1.50. So that's a pretty decent move if you look at the percentage gain. So that was Thursday, guys. So again, Tuesday we didn't have much. Wednesday we had BLBX that had a news catalyst. Thursday, pre-market, we saw a lot of healthcare stocks pop up on news, but they pulled back. And then during market hours, even after the open, this move started when? Around 11 o'clock, 10:30 is when this move started. So 10:30, guys, during market hours, this move started on a no news catalyst. So DWTX, so this ran on no news. And then we have this weird thing. It's called sympathies in the market. It's called sympathy momentum. So another biotech stock, RNAS, Transcode Therapeutics. This just went off on 23rd in sympathy to DWTX, to Dogwo Therapeutics. Look at that. 330 was the low. It went up to $12, guys, purely on sympathy momentum. I did not trade this, guys. This was way too late for me in the day. This is where I'm usually wrapping up and then pretty much going to bed around 10 o'clock Dubai time. This is where I live. I'm in Dubai here. So this one made a move very close to the close of the trading day, ES on now on Thursday. So that was that, guys. So when there's a news catalyst, I'm confident taking a position long or short. But these moves happen, and the worst thing you can do is short them because there is no news. I already had a taste of that on Tuesday with ASST, right? I showed you that this thing went from 50 cents at my time when I was trading that to $1.20 on no news. And I thought, let me short this because it's up on no news. But you know what? That's the worst thing to do. It's fine, but I was shorting it into strength. And that's the wrong thing to do, to short something into strength. I did not even wait for it to pull back, give it a sign of going below VWAP or another indicator that tells me that it's on its way down. I was just shorting into strength. And thankfully, I cut my loss into $500. I still ended the day green. But if someone was shorting DWTX around that 7 or 10s or 15 for that matter, when it was on the way up, I mean, you're going to get squeezed. So that was my day on. So here, let me just pull my P&L. I had a decent day, guys. I hit PLRZ short, KOPN, guys. This was my mistake. It was super early. I took a position at around what, 4:10, 4:15 a.m. EST. And this thing just takes me for a ride. Thankfully, I was not in that heavy. I held it for about 90 minutes and I pretty much covered this back close to break even, guys. I won't call it boredom trade. I should have done my due diligence. I did not. But again, end of the day, green, 23rd Jan. And then it's Friday, 24th, guys. To be honest, I could not dial into anything. Thanks to DWTX, healthcare, biotech was hot again. We had sympathy momentum with RNAS making a really super move up. Although it pulled back, but on the way up, it was like a freight train. So you didn't want to get in front of it. So now ALUR drops news after hours on Thursday. Allurion announces plans to optimize muscle mass during GLP-1 therapy in combination with the Allurion program. Guys, I'm not some biotech expert where news is concerned, but the market took it as positive news. So that was the move from 275 to 788. On Thursday, okay, guys, on Thursday, this one here, where my cursor is. On Friday, yesterday, this thing goes from 548 to $20. $20, guys. This thing was up. This thing was non-stop. Here, what it looked like. By 7 a.m., it was close to about $11. And I thought that was, I mean, look at the double top here. I think that was it. But this thing, I mean, look at this move up, guys. Look at this move. Let me just minimize. Look at this move. Goes up to $20, guys. And then what? Right at market open, they dropped an offering. At market open. I mean, I've seen offerings pre-market. I've seen offerings mid-day during regular trading hours around 12 o'clock, 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Sometimes the best time is around 4 p.m. when the entire action is done. They drop an offering and obviously catch all the bag holders by surprise. But this was, I haven't seen this, to be honest. I've been trading for 18 months now. I haven't seen a move, a drop, someone drop an offering right at 9:30. This thing goes from $16 to $9. And the offering price was $6 per share. Obviously, it did not get to that price, but this drop was enough to scare a lot of the longs. But you know what? I want to just rewind a few hours. So while this was happening, so on Thursday, like I mentioned, we had DWTX, and the stock that ran in sympathy with it was RNAS. So on Friday, yesterday, we had ALUR, which had a news catalyst from the previous night. We had another sympathy, guys. This is where I was getting confused, which was EVAX. This thing went along with ALUR. Just look at this, EVAX. I should have expected it, but I don't know. My mind was tired from all the trading because I could not catch up with these moves. I mean, and these are not even clean moves. Just look at the wicks. It's a wick city, guys. It went from $4 to $9, guys. Sorry, $11 by 8 a.m. So ALUR dropped an offering, and even EVAX pulled back. Although it tried another pop, but it was shot down. And by this time, I had stopped trading. Yesterday, this is my PNL, guys. It was a super quiet day for me. Some biostocks, this was a biotech, TVGN biotech, all three of them are biotechs, guys. They popped up. I traded them to the short side, and I was done. Because I was like, you know what? I did not want to get squeezed on any biotech stock because pretty much everything biotech was running yesterday. So I was like, you know what? Because even after the offering, I thought the sector would just cool down a little bit, but no. Look at this, guys. Any UP, this thing made a move from like $3 to $12 by 12 p.m. Again, no news, just pure sympathy momentum to the sector, I mean, to the industry, all healthcare. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I'm not mistaken, this is another biotech stock. Yep, Euphoria. And look at that. Look at that candle there. Again, no news catalyst, guys. No news catalyst. So call me an inexperienced trader, which I still am. I'm just 18 months old in the market, but I cannot just jump into any of these, long or short, because I've seen biotechs, guys. You've seen my previous video. I got squeezed for 33 grand in my second month of light trading on a biotech stock in pre-market on a news catalyst. So I know that some of these stocks, I mean, when even on sympathy momentum, they can do a lot of damage if you try and get in front of them. So that was it yesterday, because yesterday I was like, you know what, I'm not trading. Let me just take it easy because I could not really dial in into the price action on any of these, even on ALUR. Although it had a news catalyst from the previous night, this is how I look at it. If I am hesitating to trade the stock when it's at $5 or $7, there is no way I am trading it when it's $15, $18, right? I've at least come to terms with that aspect of not chasing stocks on the way up. So there you have it, guys. That was my first recap of the week ending Jan 24th. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see something else being covered in these weekly recaps, please let me know in the comment section, and I will see you next week, guys. Thanks again for watching.